So you want to be an amazing leader. You want to have an impact. You want to be, everyone looks at you and says, wow, that's what a real leader looks like. I just have to start by saying good luck with that, because I have to be honest, if you Google leadership, you're going to see millions of different opinions on what leadership looks like and what it really means. And I'm telling you today that when you see that many people with opinions, it means two things. One, it's really, really important. And two, we have absolutely no idea what it really is. Well, today I'm going to take the mask off of that, and we're going to get real, and we're going to talk about your magic and what you have to share. And if you want to have a huge impact on corporate culture, on your family, on lives in general, you got to be willing to think about your magic and then go give it away. Welcome to the next 24 hours, where I'm going to give you real information you can really use to transform your life and work one day at a time. I'll be your host, Curtis Zimmerman. I was with my daughter, Mirabelle, who is like 14 years old, and we were at a local ice cream shop here that's really famous here in Cincinnati. But there were these three boys sitting on the curb eating their ice cream. And I just, for some reason, had this thing where I thought, I'm going to just jump up. And I do this coin trick where I do a coin roll and then I do a little magic and I just kind of walk up to people and randomly do it because I'm a crazy guy. And sure enough, I walked over there and they were like looking at me, who's this old guy coming to talk to us, right? And I did the magic trick and they're like, oh, that's cool. Wow, dude, that's awesome. And I went back. My daughter had just finished her ice cream, so she threw away her cup, and sure enough, we got in the car, and her comment was, oh, you're such a show-off. And I tried to explain to her, actually, what I was doing is something called sharing off. And sharing off is when you share something and you give it away, and you're absolutely not going to get anything in return. So I obviously, as a speaker and as a performer my whole life, I've literally performed in front of millions of people in my career. And I was explaining to her that if you think these three boys thinking I'm cool is what my goal for the day was, so I sleep better tonight, you're totally wrong. What I did was I saw them sitting there kind of bored, and I thought, wow, it would be really cool to take this 50-cent piece I have in my pocket and go and share it with them and have them go, oh, wow, that's cool, and just kind of make their day a little bit, not change the world, but just give them something for free and then get in the car and drive away and they're never going to see me again. That's called sharing off. And I do a program called The Magic of Leadership. And in this program, I talk deeply about every single executive, every single hourly employee, every single person that I meet has gifts. And what we do is we gather these gifts over the years and we keep them as kind of our personal arsenal that we can use or we can keep to ourselves. And today, what I'd love for you to start thinking about is, what are your gifts? How did you acquire them? And are you truly going out of your way to give them away to other people, to add value to you as a person, to add value to you as an employee, to add value to you as a leader? So I wanted to start with just kind of how I acquired the skills that I possessed as a performer first. So I worked at different amusement parks for 9 years. And what happened was every summer there'd be a break room, and all the performers that were there that summer would take a break and relax, and we'd get to know each other over the 3.5, 4 months at the break room. And it was interesting because every year there was a different act that would be there. So it might be jugglers, it might be magician, it might be fire eaters. And what I did was each summer I got to know them, and they would get to know me, and they would be one of the best in the world at that specific thing. So if it was a magician, for instance, it might be somebody that had their own show in Las Vegas or is preparing to have their own show in Las Vegas. They were like crazy, stupid, talented people. And so imagine spending time with them and then saying, hey, listen, I will teach you how to do some mime moves and teach you how to use your body in a new way. If you teach me 2 or 3 magic tricks, that would be really cool. And so sure enough, we started trading skills. So I'd have this magician teach me just, 2 or 3 really strong magic tricks. And I'd put the time in and practice and all that. Then the next summer, there'd be some jugglers there that were like phenomenal, have all these world records in juggling. And I'd say, hey, I'll tell you what, I'll teach you this really amazing magic trick, which I just learned the summer before. If you teach me how to juggle 4 balls, more patterns, 5 balls that I've always wanted to learn. And over the years, that's how I became a mime and a juggler and a fire eater and a magician and a unicyclist and a stilt walker and all the different things that I kept incorporating into me as a performer by trading these skills. And the point that is important for you to take away from that is exactly what you have to do now in business. So change is the new normal, and everything is changing so rapidly. So whatever you've been hired for at the company you currently work at, in the next 3 to 5 years, I guarantee your job description is going to change, or what they're asking you to do is going to change and grow and become into something brand new, because that's the way the world's moving, and that's the way all business is changing. Therefore, I want you to start thinking about, if I sit next to somebody that's a marketing guru, that's a marketing expert, and I'm in finance, why do I need to learn marketing? I'm telling you right now, you need to learn marketing. You need to spend time with that person, pick their brain, figure out why they're an expert in it, what they see the trend being moving forward toward marketing. And then in return, you're going to help them with some of the things that you are an expert in. So I don't care if it's marketing, if it's PowerPoint, if it's bookkeeping, if it's social media, if it's, you do the best spreadsheets in the world. These are all skills that you possess. And what my challenge for you today is to think about, what is that kind of value proposition that you have, and who could you go and share that with? And remember, it's not showing off, it's sharing off. Who could you go and share that with? So if they're doing a PowerPoint presentation and you're amazing at PowerPoint, as an example, what I would say is, if it's going to take them, an hour and a half to get their deck ready for the presentation they're going to give, you can come in, you can make their presentation even better, and you can help them prepare it in 40 minutes instead of an hour and a half. That's what great leaders do. Think of yourself as the leader of the company. Think of yourself as the CEO. As you walk around into all the different departments, as you interact with salespeople, as you interact with the marketing team, your goal is to look at what they're doing, give them a little bit of advice, share off a little bit of experience you have, which therefore takes the learning curve, or the curve of producing this, to a shorter time, makes it happen faster. So that truly is what leadership is. So the magic of leadership is a simple program that I do, simple in concept, but really deep as far as how far you can take it. And that is, we have all the leaders together, and I give everyone a coin, and you're going to learn a magic trick, I tell everyone. And they're like, oh, I'm not coordinated. Oh, I can never do magic. I like it, but I don't understand it. And in a matter of minutes, I'm able to take the coin, walk them through step by step by step how to do this pretty cool magic trick. And everyone's able to do it. Then I have everyone stand up, and I have them share it with the person next to them. And now that's a vital step, because what happens so often when we learn a new skill, when we take something and we add it to our personal brand of who we are as a person, we want to become a real expert before we start sharing it, before we start demonstrating it. You don't have time to do that anymore. Today, when you have new information, I want you to get up, I want you to share it, I want you to start giving it away immediately. So even though they just learned how to do this magic trick with this 50-cent piece, I have them stand up within 30 seconds and start sharing it with other people. And what happens is the learning curve from you practicing by yourself compared to actually demonstrating it and sharing it, the learning curve evaporates, because now all of a sudden you're in performance mode. You're already sharing it and giving it away. And that's what I want you to think about with the magic of leadership. What do you currently have? So for me, it literally is a coin in my pocket, and I have a choice. I can keep my magic just like you have a choice. You can keep the thing that you're an expert at to yourself. You can keep, oh, I'm marketing and I'm just keeping this to myself. Or I can reach in my pocket, I can take out my 50-cent piece, and I can share the magic that I possess. What great leaders do is they take the things, the skills that they've taken 30, 40 years to develop, and they readily share it with everyone they meet. That's what I want you to do. Give it away. Just keep sharing and giving and sharing and giving. And that's why it's called the magic of leadership. Don't keep that information to yourself. Today, the real value add to everyone that I meet is that they are totally transparent. They're giving away what they have. They're giving away their gifts, and they're not looking for anything. It's not about what I'm going to get from you. It's just I'm going to give and give. That's going to create this culture of giving and culture of changing and really sharing what we have as a team. That's how you really change the dynamic of the group that you're working with really quickly. But you have to demonstrate the behavior you want to see in others. So don't ask other people to do that when this is over and you turn off this podcast. Don't go tell people. Go show people. Go share by doing, not by telling. That's what real leadership looks like. So I utilize the magic of leadership to say thank you as well. And what I mean by that is when I see somebody in the real world going above and beyond and really demonstrating and leaning into their strength, what I want to do is go thank them. I want to go say, wow, what you're doing is amazing. Please keep it up. So here's a quick example. I was doing a conference, which I do a lot of, obviously, and I pulled up to the hotel, and sure enough, the bellhop came out, and it was an elderly gentleman, and this guy, this guy was on fire. Hey, how you doing today? So excited that you're here. He had this whole thing going on and talking about the hotel, and he wanted to know about me, and it was awesome. Grabbed my bags like they weighed nothing and threw them on the cart. It was crazy. So I told him, you're amazing. I love your attitude. I love the energy. Every single hotel I go to wishes they had somebody like you that greeted the guests and sees the guests off as they leave, because your first impression and your last impression really are him and the way he treats you coming in and the way he treats you as you leave. And he was the perfect ambassador, brand ambassador. So what I did was I reached in my pocket, I got out my trusty 50-cent piece, I did a little magic, and his whole world stopped. He stared at me, he was totally focused, he was watching, and he loved it. And then what I love to do is, okay, now close your hand. I put the 50-cent piece in his hand and say, close your hand. I snap my fingers and I say, open your hand. And it's like, is it going to disappear? Is it going to be a different coin? No. It's the regular coin. It's still there. And I say, that's for you and all you give every day. I want to give you that, and I want you to keep it. Don't spend it, but keep it for good luck and keep up the great work. And then I walk away. And I've been doing that for years. I can be at the airport to somebody that's, a flight was just canceled and the woman's there with, 30 people in line. I'll give it to her or whoever it is. So sure enough, so I do that, and then I also walk away and I forget about it. But in this particular case, what I did was I went up, I checked into the hotel, I got up to my room, and this was kind of an internal kind of hallway. And from my room, when I got my bags and everything and I got it all set up, I came out and I was just looking out over the quad there, the open area, and I could see the gentleman that I had given the coin to. I could see him standing there. And what was interesting, and the takeaway, and the reason I want to share this, is I want you to think about the power you have with what you share. You never know where people take that, because he literally reached into his pocket, looked at the 50-cent piece, smiled, and then put it back in his pocket. And then he did it again. And then he did it again. And in the time that I stood there, which was about 10, 15 minutes, he literally had taken the 50-cent piece in and out of his pocket at least 6 or 7 times. And there's one more thing about the story that I have to add. And that is, I came back a year later to do the same conference, to speak to the same group, and he met me, and the first thing he said was, "Hey, magic guy," and he reached in his pocket and he had the 50-cent piece, and he'd been carrying it for a year. I could have, came in, been all in myself, and just walked past this guy and not paid any attention. How often do you do that? How often when you see somebody going the extra mile, do you stop yourself in your busy world and thank them? And show your appreciation to them. Tell them, thank you, I'm so glad you're part of my team. Every day I come here and I see you, I know I don't have to worry about these 3 things because you're here and I know you have my back. That's the power of leadership. That's the magic of leadership. Last thing I would say is, what are we going to take from this podcast and we're going to go back and actually utilize and do tomorrow? So first thing, take 15 minutes today, sit quietly, and really think about, what is my power situation? What is my magic trick, if you will? What is my 50-cent piece? Get 2 or 3 of those together and then think consciously about tomorrow. Who are you going to go and spend an extra 10 minutes and share off? Who are you going to go and seek these people out? And literally, I don't care if it's a phone call, I don't care if it's sitting in their office, whatever that looks like, a Skype, I don't care. But you're going to take 10 or 15 minutes and really do a deep dive into something you're an expert at that's going to help that other person. Do it and see what it feels like. Hey, thank you for listening to The Next 24 Hours. It would mean a lot to me if you found this content today valuable, that you share it with your friends. Leave me a review. I'd love to hear from you. And if you want to learn more about what I do, it's really simple. Just go to curtiszimmerman.com. Remember, in order to live the dream, you have to make the next 24 hours count. The clock is ticking.